So about modern animes, I can't really tell if this is a popular opinion or not. It's honestly not something I ever thought about at all, and I have only started to see this being talked about more recently. In the past few weeks, I've seen it become a thing people talk about. It's the idea that modern animes have become worse over time, where anime in general used to be better a few years ago than the state it is currently in. But I disagree with that idea pretty much entirely. By modern anime, I'm assuming they mean anime that came out in the last 4 or 5 years. There are shows that came out a little bit before that I still consider modern animes, like My Hero Academia for example. Boruto as well, I'm pretty sure. But that's a good ballpark on what people consider to be modern shows. In those years, there have been lots of good shows to come out. None of those years were noticeably worse. They all had at least a couple of good shows to come out, especially 2019. That was probably the best year for anime out of all of them. Every season had multiple good shows to come out. It was a really memorable year for me, and probably loads of other people. I mean, to be honest, as of right now the seasons feel kind of slow, especially when compared to years like those, but they aren't terrible or anything. Before, I probably picked up like 3 or 4 animes at least every season. Most of the time, I would have at least one episode to watch for almost every day of the week, but this year I'm definitely picking up less series than I usually do. This year feels a little bit more lackluster than the previous ones, to be honest. Shows that were being anticipated to be good ended up flopping, or it's just that most of the shows that come out end up being those buffer shows. And by buffer, I mean the shows that come out that pretty much no one watches. They're the buffers until the shows I watch stream new episodes. Like that one season that came out with all the mecha animes. I don't think I even stuck with any of the shows I picked up that season. There might be one I ended up liking and watching, but I don't really remember. That's how bad the season was. I don't even remember what I ended up watching that season. The best anime for most people to have come out this year would probably be Dress Up Darling. I personally didn't watch it and I don't plan to, but I can definitely see why it appealed to so many people. It was trending in a lot of places, and even spread outside the anime community in some areas. The best for me was probably the second season of Mushoku Tensei. That is definitely the peak of isekai I have seen. I don't really expect much from the genre in general. There's probably only a handful that I actually enjoy, since most of them ended up being more or less copies of each other, somehow involving a demon lord and some crazy overpowered guy living a humble life. It's the isekai starter pack, except for a part-time demon lord. That one's actually pretty enjoyable for me. I think it was what started the whole demon lord trope for isekai, because it came out a while back, and I'm guessing it was pretty successful, because lots of other series tried to reuse the idea. But yeah, in general, this year has not been as good as previous years. I think we'll pick up a lot more in the second half of the year though. There are still shows being anticipated to come out later on around the end of the year. The most notable one being Chainsaw Man. I think that alone will be enough to make up for the year for most people. That will probably be what ends as maybe popular opinion I've seen coming up. But there's also Bleach as well, which is also a big one. I mean, you probably wouldn't care too much unless you already watched the series, but that's also something me and a lot of other people are looking forward to. I've seen a lot of people start Bleach just because of what they saw from the trailer. I'm trusting they're gonna rework it and make the blood arc more enjoyable than it was in the manga. So that's another thing to make up for the first half of 2022, as well as Blue Lock and Aoshi if you like sports anime. Ranking of Kings 2 I just realized came out this year. 2022 was actually a great year for anime. I take back what I said about it being more lacking than the previous years. 2022 definitely had a slower start than the other years. But if you actually look at what's already came out and what's left to come, this will turn out to be a really good year. Possibly even Villain Saga may come out this year. If it does, that will be at the end, but it's still possible that it comes out in 2022. It was announced officially to be in production a few months ago, but they might come out with an actual trailer for it sometime in the summer. This could end up being even better than 2019 by the end of the year, with all these big name shows that might come out. There's a Big 3 anime being revived after like a decade, one of the most popular modern mangas, and a bunch of other good series being continued, or just starting to come out. I was trying to rationalize and understand the perspective of people who said that modern animes are getting worse, but when you really look at what's come out, and what's still yet to come out, no matter how you look at it, it's still going very strong. Stronger than normal if anything. This is probably a more uncommon opinion, because there's no way the majority of people actually think this. But yeah, that is pretty much all I had to say. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe for future content. Peace.